Is obesity a choice? Well, I think the answer is no, at least not in all cases, and certainly not in the simplistic sense. There's just too much of an influence from genetics and environment to shift the blame entirely on the individual for their circumstance.
Alright, what is up weightlifters and weightliftettes? Welcome back to Aegis Athletics. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Jeff Nippard's new video, Is Obesity A Choice? End of discussion. Well, I don't think it is the end of the discussion, and I want to preface this by saying that I have a very large amount of respect for Jeff Nippard and what he's done for the fitness community, the information he brings to the fitness community, and everything he has done and the success of his channel. So I'm not taking anything away from that, and nor could I in that regard. We're going to be doing a quick dive into the video, some of its points, why he believes obesity is not a choice, and then I'm going to refute those facts and those points in his video. Like I said, I do respect everything that Jeff Nippard does, that Jeff Nippard produces, and all the information he puts out. But today, I just happen to disagree with his latest video, and we're gonna jump into why. So let's get going. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Alright, so to kind of break it off first, we're going to jump into Jeff Nippard's points, what he brings up, the information, which is extensive in this video, to just basically say obesity is not a choice. We're going to be referencing just the main bullet points because there is a lot to go through. Not like he didn't do a good enough job of explaining things, but we're going to try to explain it even more simply for a layman such as myself. But we're also going to go over my arguments to jump right into it. His first question is obesity just a button you can turn on and off?
Obesity a choice? This is a tough question, and a lot of people seem to think about it something like this, where you have an obese button on the left and a not obese button on the right. And anyone who is currently obese is obese because they made a conscious decision to press the obese button. But I don't think that's how it works.
Well, obviously not. You don't just wake up one day and you're all of a sudden 150 pounds heavier. That's not how anything works. You don't just wake up one day and you're the fastest runner on earth. You don't just wake up one day and bench press 500 pounds. All of those things, including weight loss and weight gain, happen over time. You know, to use that as an argument against obesity being a choice is kind of a cop-out in my opinion, because it is using such a simplistic reference to justify it not being a choice, when in reality that simplicity makes it even more of a choice. You know, we do in the end, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, have to go outside of our means or our way to institute routines and guidelines for ourselves to gain weight, to lose weight, to gain muscle, to lose muscle, to run faster, to run slower. Like anything you do in life, it first requires that choice though, and that's kind of my opinion with this one. He also goes on to talk about how if you lined up 100 people, obese people, and if they could press a button and make it just go away, would they choose to be obese? And of course not, no one would.
If you selected 100 people at random and gave them the option, my guess is that almost every one of them would press the not obese button. People know about the potential health risks and social stigma that can come with being obese, so virtually no one would consciously choose to be obese.
But in the same regard, you could also ask 100 smokers if they would still choose to be smoking cigarettes to this day, to you that they would each individually say that they wish they had never started. Also, cigarette smokers and people who are addicted to most things understand that it began with that choice, and they can actually tell you the very first time that they smoked a cigarette, that they had an alcoholic beverage, that they had that first hit of heroin or meth, because it begins with that first initial choice. Now, it's a little different with obesity, but it's not. It has to do with a food addiction and being addicted to that dopamine drive that food gives you over and over and over again. Dopamine is not just something that comes in waves, it comes with all sorts of feelings. It's a reward function for the human body. Whenever we're getting that dopamine response or that dopaminergic feedback, we are happy with what we just did. And that's the point. That's the same thing with obesity, same thing with cigarette addiction, and same thing with heroin and meth addiction. Jeff's other points are that metabolism plays a role, that thyroid and hormones play a role, that NEAT plays a role, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That just has to do with the resting metabolic energy output. Me sitting here talking to you, I'm burning calories, and that is NEAT.
How neat is that?
Basically, the choice to be obese isn't as simple as, yes, I'm going to be obese. That's Jeff's point. Now, I can understand what he's saying. All has to do with a subjective standpoint. And basically, before we move on, just to summarize Jeff's statement, no, obesity is not a choice because there are too many factors involved with becoming obese. Okay, and that's pretty easy to understand.
Obesity a choice? Well, I think the answer is no. At least not in all cases, and certainly not in the simplistic sense. There's just too much of an influence from genetics and environment to shift the blame entirely on the individual for their circumstance.
Okay, all right. You've trained all your life for the Olympics. You're a runner. You're in the 400-meter dash. Okay, you've been training hard every single day for the past year because you knew you were going to the Olympics after qualifiers. You trained your balls off. You didn't even know if you were going to make it through. You put your blood, your sweat, your tears into something like that, only to get second place to Usain Bolt. You probably trained as hard as Usain. You probably put in as much effort as Usain. You probably quite literally did everything to a T, maybe even better than Usain, but he has the genetics to be that person. He has those exceptional godlike genetics that in his field and what he does for a living make him exceptional and the best, okay? But and my point is, that's with anything in life. Just like in school, you know that kid who can literally not even study and get an A on the test every single time, passes classes with ease while like you're over there in the corner studying like 4 hours after school every single night just to get a B- on the test. Like there's always gonna be differences among individuals, but that's wherein lies the problem with Jeff's argument.
But that also doesn't mean that no one has any control over their health and their body weight. Clearly, if people want to lose weight, even if there are many factors working against them, such as low metabolic rate, high hunger, and so forth, it's still possible to lose weight if you sustain a caloric deficit over time.
With Jeff Nippard's argument is that it's the effort that we put in. Some people will always have to try harder than other people. That's just the way it is in life. Life is not fair. Trust me, it's not fair to a lot of people. Some people will absolutely put in zero effort and still come out on top. Some people will put in all the effort and struggle and strive and bleed and sweat and cry and still come out second place, okay? So his argument that there are people who have better metabolisms and things isn't even an argument when it comes down to choice. Choice to consume more energy than you are outputting. That's simply all it is. Whether you have a slower metabolism than someone, your thyroid is messed up, you have this medical condition or this medical condition, none of those things are going to cause you to gain 150 pounds of excess body weight. There's no medication on the planet that's going to cause you to do that. There's no thyroid condition. There's no hormonal condition that's going to cause you to gain 150 pounds of fat from thin air. That has to be achieved by you continually choosing to put excess food into your body. And that's all it is. It is a choice. And Jeff's argument, I think it's placating to this new generation of people who don't like truth at face value. It comes down to reality, facts, and the objective truths and not subjective realities. I get it. There are people with different conditions than others, but it's that way everywhere. And if you continue to place yourself amongst others and instead of focus on yourself and blame everybody else for your problems, you're never going to succeed in life. It is about the individual, but each individual loses weight or gains weight or anything else in life that starts with a choice. Okay, you cannot choose your skin color. Okay, you cannot choose how tall you are. You cannot choose where you're born in life. You cannot choose the country of your birth. You cannot choose your parents or your extended family. There is a lot of things that you cannot choose in life, but being obese is absolutely one of those things. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I mean, am I wrong? Is Jeff wrong? Am I completely out of my head? Let me know. And make sure to like this video, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.